can't. Not that I can't, but I'm training in Tai Chi. I'm training to learn how to do this program. So I have a set time every morning from this time or every afternoon or nighttime. That's dedicated to that training, right? I'm planting the seeds. I'm watering it every day, right? I'm doing something that I know that's important to me, and I'm going to learn how to do it. Not only do I know why now, I know how to do it because I'm learning from this teacher. He's giving me all these nuts and bolts. But you have to understand, a teacher takes you up the stair to the front door. But a good teacher, is not going to open it for you. You got to open that door. You got to want to go inside and feel what it's like. There's a little bit of discomfort. There's always uncertainty. And there's always that, wow, is this overwhelming or is this too much to do? But you open the door anyway and you go in. And once you go in, each day you go in, the scenery gets a little better. Each time you practice, it becomes more clear. Over the course of time, you start making connections. Some students have said in the beginning recently, God, Wayne, I didn't know Tai Chi has so much to do. There's so much, all these acronyms and all these principles. But look at some of the students have been with me now for 1, 2, 3 years. They're making progress. It's not as overwhelming no more because of the constant reinforcement, because of everything we attempt to do to put it out there so that when you go in through that door, it's not as overwhelming anymore over time. You start to see the relationships. Really, when you know one, you start to learn the other ones. And when you see the totality, it's really not as daunting because everything is time. Time is Gong Fu. And practice is like, for example, we all eat, we all go to restaurants, we all have experienced delicious meals, right? When you practice, like you eating a meal, you just enjoy it, but then you forget about it. A practitioner, wow, what ingredients do you put in there? How do you make it, right? Can you share with me some of those ingredients? Can you share with me what it takes to make that food? Not alone, you don't have to make it. You may start reading on it. Wow, that restaurant does very good. Why does it does very good? Well, because it has these particular chefs that has these background, and you start investigating. See, between someone practicing and someone training, the one word that may not be prevalent in the other is curiosity. A practitioner is curious. They ask questions. They start to says, why does that person can do it? They're not born any different. Or they're doing something, then you start to be curious. You start to ask. When I'm in Taiwan training with Sifu Chen said, okay, today no more than 10 questions. That's it. And then tomorrow you come back and ask me again. Because when I'm there, I'm nonstop. I keep asking him questions. I keep asking him. And then after a while, right, you realize the answers they give you, they're all connected, the answers. They're not different. You start to realize that when you ask one question, he gives you one answer. You ask another question, he gives you another answer. You find out that they're related. They're all related. IST is the same thing. When you talk about 5 R's, is it related to safe? Of course. When you talk about safe, is it related to SOS? Of course. When you talk about SOS, is it related to GOES? Absolutely. But that takes time. That takes a type of commitment where when you go up to the stairs, you want to open that door. And once you open that door and you go in, now you start to see different things that you won't see if you're just practicing. And you start to realize that not only are you curious, you start to become accountable. See, a good teacher is not going to say, I'm going to lead you. A good teacher is going to say that I'm going to take you to where you need to go. And it's going to be you that make that decision to want to do it. Because not only are you curious, you start taking ownership of the practice. That's the difference between practice and training. Training, you start to have ownership and curiosity. Practice, well, it's still good. It has some benefit, but the limitations are very fast and great. As a practitioner, you want it to become yours. If someone asks you about it, if you get into a conversation with another Tai Chi person, you can have conversations. Wow, this person knows something. They know the essence. They know what Tai Chi is. Whereas someone that's just practicing, nah, I just, well, I can do it, but I can't really talk about it, or I can't really feel what you talk about. What do you mean energy? What is Qi? And then they touch you and you get very nervous and you get very stiff and you get anxious. A practitioner will understand what to do. They will know the understanding of Qi, what it represents, and they don't get caught up. And this is very important too. They don't get caught up into the commercial side of what Tai Chi and IST represents. Okay. Once you understand IST in its essence, you don't get caught up into the commercial side. And because there's money to be made in Tai Chi, the commercial side gets you to buy all the fancy shoes, all the fancy clothing. And we see people wearing those $100 Tai Chi shoes. Wow, that person must be very good because they're wearing $100 Tai Chi shoes, right? And so forth and etc. So once you know between practice and practitioner, then all those things will change over time and what happens in 5, 10, 15, 30 years, etc. So there's no surprises. So I'm planting the seeds for all of you here today. It's okay to choose practice, but it's also okay and to be aware of what training represents. Training doesn't mean that your life changes and you become 100% Tai Chi. No, training means that you set aside a dedicated time and you understand why, how, how, and the what of what Tai Chi can represent. Okay, so in summary, that's the difference between practice and training. Two different very qualities. Important to understand what those two represent, and then you will make the choice in which way you want to go. But since I see most of you here every Saturday